There is a much easier way of getting your first few customers than all of the advice that you're going to get online. I've spent a long time, huge portions of my life, using social media and online marketing to try and get new customers. Sometimes it's great, but if you're first starting out, there's something that's got a way better bang for your buck. So we think that this new technology has to always be utilised, and that if you're not using it, you're somehow going to fall behind. If I was starting out again, based upon the results of what I've been doing for the last week, this is exactly what I would do to market my gardening business. Let me go and get something. So this is what I've been doing the last week. I made a two-sided flyer, and within that I've just put very big garden services in the hope that that's what they see before they take it to the bin. And it seems to have worked really well. I've also got a picture of myself on the back, which I was fearful might put people off, but it seems that it's sort of working. So that's a bit of a spoiler alert. This stuff genuinely works. So I dropped off about 200 on Monday, which is hardly anything in terms of leaflet marketing. You're generally recommended to drop off a minimum of, say, 5,000. Now, the reason why I would suggest that you can go and drop these off yourself is that if you're thinking of starting a business, you probably have a little bit of time on your hands. If you don't, then you've got other problems to solve. The reason why I would suggest that some of them you should drop off yourself is because it's a great opportunity to actually bump into people and meet them. So some of the things that I did that were useful is I used a free app called, which is by Under Armour, it's called Map My Walk, so that I can tell which roads I've visited and the time that it's taken me to do it. So far I've only spent 6 hours dropping these off, and it's well timed because it's the beginning of March, which is when people start thinking about their gardens. Generally in the UK, that's the case. The reason why I would do this as the first thing is because it's really fast. You've got no excuses about having to learn to use any particular technology. You can go on to websites like Vistaprint, or there's a fair few other options, and they've got templates on there already that you can just change the text, and you could have those delivered to your door in a couple of days. In the world of social media and online marketing, it's hard to be really location specific. With this, if I post this through some doors in areas that I know that I want to work, it is so much more location specific than any online stuff that you can do. You don't have to choose between this and posting on a local social media group, like a local Facebook group might get you a few inquiries. I've done that too, and that's free as well. But the only reason why I'm saying this is because I don't want there to be a barrier to entry for people. I want them to know that this works. If I was starting up entirely again, this would be the first thing that I would do. So let's imagine that I'm working in a regular job. What's to stop me from going out a few evenings and dropping some of these off? I haven't had to invest in any kit by this point, so I might even pick up some customers as the first thing that I do in my business, which is a great way to start, is try and get the income before you've got the outgoings. Because the other way around, if you go on to forums where new starters will ask a bunch of experienced contractors, I'm thinking of starting up, what should I do? Often they'll get responses that say the kit that they need to buy, and I completely disagree with that. Why would you spend thousands and thousands of pounds before you've even proved to yourself that you actually want to be involved in this? And so that's why this would be the first thing that I did, because it's very easy and it will just show you that you've got the willpower and commitment to go through with it. Based on the jobs that you will get from doing it, you could then invest in the kit that you need just to do those jobs. The low-tech answer is the one that you actually need, because like this and this, I've got no excuse to not be able to use it. This is so far, and I'm barely into it, been the most effective marketing that I've done. And it took me a day's work in total so far. And when I was delivering them, I just put on a podcast and off I'd go just for a little walk. It was actually quite enjoyable. And so my call to action would be to you is to get onto a website like Vistaprint and just finding the simplest thing that you can on there, getting an A6 flyer and putting garden services and your contact details on there, and see what sort of response you get. It's not going to cost you a lot. You'll learn a lot by doing it. Something that I think is really important is that you conduct your business in the way that you understand it. And everyone can understand this. You don't have to know about SEO, online marketing, and social media. You don't have to invest all of the time in creating the content, because it does take a long time to do that. It's a big commitment. You don't have to write blog articles, spend time direct messaging people, trying to grow social media accounts, when there's this opportunity to just get your customers via the simplest and most old-fashioned route. And it's now the one that's less noisy than what's going on online. So let me know what you think, whether you'll consider doing such a campaign, whether you've had success doing it in the past. Of course, it's something that needs to be taken with some balance, which is that it doesn't mean that just by doing this you can't do any other forms of marketing. What's really important is that this gives you the opportunity to get the momentum that you need. Once you get those first few jobs, a lot of the jobs are going to start coming from word of mouth, so this is just a really useful way of picking up extra customers. Once again, if you've enjoyed this sort of content, there's plenty more of it stored up in my head, so like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.